Hello! For this video, I would like to do an actual movie review and not just a reaction. My topic today is the critically panned film Batman and Robin. Directed by Joel Schumacher, who has since passed away, and written by Akiva Goldsman. If you're not familiar with either of their works, Schumacher directed movies like The Lost Boys, St. Elmo's Fire, The Phantom of the Opera, and The Number 23. The writer of the film, Goldsman, has written screenplays for The Client, I, Robot, I Am Legend, Cinderella Man, and he has written more than a dozen episodes for the science fiction series Fringe. He also helped develop the DC series Titans and Star Trek, Picard. That explains a lot.
Fuck Batman.
The two also obviously worked together on both Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. To delve into a little backstory on this movie, Batman and Robin is the fourth installment of the first string of Batman films stemming from 1989. The first of which was directed by Tim Burton. Burton was ousted as director after his sequel to Batman. Batman Returns was deemed too dark for audiences and failed to meet audience expectations at the box office. Michael Keaton left as well, stating that, and I quote, "The film just wasn't any good, man." In comes Schumacher to direct Batman Forever, produced by Tim Burton. The movie gained critical and financial success, which led directly to the making of Batman and Robin. Val Kilmer chose not to reprise his role. It was a mutual, he quit, he was fired situation. Schumacher has stated that he was hard to work with. Replacements for Kilmer include David Duchovny and William Baldwin. However, George Clooney was ultimately chosen for the role of Batman after his performance in From Dusk Till Dawn had impressed Schumacher. Originally, Ed Harris, Anthony Hopkins, and Patrick Stewart were considered for the role of Mr. Freeze. Anthony Hopkins would have been incredible in the role. It would have been a completely different movie if any one of those men were cast as Mr. Freeze. But ultimately, the Governator himself, Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger, was cast as Mr. Freeze. The script was rewritten to accommodate Arnold, which again explains a lot. The other castings went off without a hitch, with Alicia Silverstone being the only choice to play Batgirl. In the current world of green screens and VFX artists spending 10 months to digitally edit out a cameraman from a shot, it's a breath of fresh air seeing actors interact with actually built sets. The set design is one of the best features of the film. All the sets are vivid, colorful, and immaculate. The movie goes off on a campy tone, fitting with how Warner Brothers wanted to take the direction of the series, to make it aimed at children. According to John Glover, who played Dr. Jason Woodrue, Joel Schumacher would sit on a crane with a megaphone and yell before each take, "Remember everyone, this is a cartoon." A lot of the actors have spoken out about their experiences filming this movie. How the tone of the set was strange, in that they felt like they were making an advertisement, more so than a proper film. The set pieces are fairly well choreographed. The music is mostly fitting, there's really no problems in the score of the film, and in my opinion the acting, while leaning incredibly campy, fits with the tone of the movie. That being schlock. George Clooney is the standout of the cast, nailing the role of both Batman and Bruce Wayne. Schwarzenegger played mainly what he was typecast to play, which honestly is the biggest detriment to the film. Goldsman opted to make all of his dialogue one-liners. A remarkably odd choice for sure, but understand that Schwarzenegger was the action star of that time period. It makes more sense in retrospect that the action films of yesteryear relied heavily on cheesy action and one-liners.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
He was also the top-billed actor of the film, so his role took a bigger priority over the others. It's actually kind of wild how every actor going in played the role to their own whimsy. Uma Thurman went full camp, and I love her for it.
Because you do change all the time.
Well, I thought it was, basically to take it in the way that she goes more and more mad.
Yeah, exactly.
As she escalates and becomes more, power-hungry and insane.
Let's talk about this character. She is a kind of eco-terrorist gone berserk, if you want to explain.
She is. She's a Mother Nature woman scorned. So, so it's sort of a mad comedic idea based on that.
Alicia was basically just Cher from Clueless, or herself, and I love her for that. As for a quick synopsis of the film, the dynamic duo of Batman and Robin work together to protect Gotham City from evil. But their relationship is challenged when they must fight the villainous duo of Icy Mr. Freeze and venomous Poison Ivy, who seek to freeze Gotham and repopulate it with mutant plants. At the same time, the heroes must find a way to cure their sick butler Alfred, while also receiving some help from new heroine Batgirl. Together, they foil Mr. Freeze's plan and save Gotham from turning into a giant ice sculpture, and our crime-fighting, now trio continue to fight crime, and do it in pure campy bliss. I didn't even mention anything about Bane, he's also in this movie. The costumes were mostly uncomfortable for the actors, with poor Arnold swallowing copious amounts of battery acid. According to Schumacher, he added the now infamous nipples because in the comic books, the characters always looked like they were naked with spray paint on. He recalls not knowing where his head was back in the day. He goes on to say, "I had no idea there was going to end up being all this buzz about it." George Clooney's biggest complaint with the costume was the nipples. He says, "Well, I wasn't thrilled with the nipples on the Batsuit. You know, that's not something you really think about when you're putting it on. You figure all Batsuits have nipples, and then you realize yours was really the first." Originally, before the backlash this movie received, a sequel was in the works. However, it ended almost as soon as it began after the aforementioned backlash. The sequel would have Coolio as Scarecrow, and would have introduced Harley Quinn. One of the biggest problems with this movie lies heavily on the character of Robin. To be fair, I think the actor playing the role, Chris O'Donnell, is doing his best. However, this is a role that should have either gone to someone younger, or maybe not have been in the movie at all. O'Donnell reprises his role from Batman Forever for this film. In my opinion, they could have just had Barbara replace Robin for this film, and nothing of substance would really be changed. The scenes with Poison Ivy would be reworked for only Batman, then Batgirl would save him, which is basically how it happens in the movie anyways. But I digress. This film has been regarded far and wide as one of the worst movies ever made. Does that claim still hold true to this day? Obviously not, there's been far worse comic book movies that have been made since. But why does this movie still have the reputation that it does? I think one of the sole reasons it's regarded as one of the worst in the industry lies solely in how campy it is. It's complete schlock. Comic book movies have since taken on more serious tones. Warner Brothers wanted to take this film and make it like the 60s Adam West television show for some unknown reason, and evidently nobody wanted that. Warner Brothers continues to make some of the most baffling decisions I've ever seen in my life, like choosing to not release any movies on their streaming platform, instead opting to scrap them for tax write-offs, and stick with Ezra Miller as the Flash, among many other things, like choosing Joss Whedon to finish the Justice League, which was a really awful decision in retrospect. But anyways, in my opinion, this film holds up surprisingly pretty well. It's a campy 2-hour ride, funny to watch, and a time capsule of what was once the late 90s. Definitely does not deserve the moniker of one of the worst comic book movies ever made. That belongs solely to Thor, Love and Thunder, or until I watch something worse than that, which might be soon with all the Marvel hoopla going on. Anyways, thanks for watching. That's it. Just realize that if you decide to revisit Batman and Robin, it is complete schlock, and it is glorious. Consider giving it a chance. And if it is as awful as you think it is, at the very least, it's a way to waste 2 hours of your life in an unmeaningful way. Thank you. Please leave comments telling me how wrong I am, and that I'm an idiot. Okay, thanks, bye.
A bat credit card?